Welcome to Beyond the Medical Algorithm, a podcast by the Philly Wellness Center. Join us on a journey through the too often neglected path to wellness, where we celebrate the human body and all things natural to illuminate new roads to health and happiness. Holistic is the name of the game, and I'll be talking to fellow experts and enthusiasts to rejoice in healing and revolutionize the way we approach therapy. I'm your host, Catie Harris. On today's episode of Beyond the Medical Algorithm, we're excited to welcome TJ Oshun, the CEO of Callondoc, America's leading online healthcare provider since its inception in 2017. Under TJ's leadership, Callondoc has revolutionized telemedicine, providing accessible, efficient, and comprehensive medical care to nearly 1.5 million patients. Specializing in a broad spectrum of conditions from simple to complex, Callondoc leverages technology to deliver quality healthcare with quick prescription services, significantly impacting how medical care is accessed and delivered. TJ's innovative approach and commitment to integrating technology with healthcare have set new standards in the telemedicine field, making quality care reachable for patients across the United States. Wow, this sounds really interesting. Welcome, TJ. This is really cool.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we delve into the specifics of Callondoc and its impact, could you share what personally motivated you to venture into this telemedicine space? It's not an easy space to be in, for sure.
Well, it's not. However, we started in 2017 prior to COVID. Back then, there weren't any guidelines or protocols to follow. So that posed extra challenges at that time. But what actually motivated me was the need to provide medical care to patients. I'm a medical provider myself. I co-founded a clinic in Dallas, Texas around 2015, and the clinic was successful. However, I noticed a significant no-show in patient care, in patient visit. And I did a survey and, try to figure out why patients with chronic diseases would not show up to the clinic. And what that revealed was patients not showing up because of cost, access to care, and just the open hours of the clinic itself. I went to the drawing table and tried to solve a problem as I usually do, and decided to reach patients in the comfort of their home if they can come to the clinic. As you know, most clinics open 9 to 5. That's when patients or individuals leave their workplace. That sort of limits the access to medical care. So we launched the telemedicine initiative back then, and the no-show rate dropped significantly, and we were able to provide care and chronic disease management to our patients.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing too, because you're right. In 2017, before COVID, telemedicine was still kind of a pipe dream, if you will. It seems hard to imagine now because everything seems to be online, but it was pretty novel back then.
Absolutely. And I remember in 2016, when I was doing the research, it was only about 3 or 4 telemedicine companies back then, and they were mostly offering ancillary services like ED. So there weren't any company other than Teladoc that provided sort of comprehensive urgent care, chronic disease management. So we were sort of the first provider-led telemedicine company in the United States. And unfortunately, COVID hit, and we're able to provide care across all 50 states in the U.S.
That alone is quite the venture. I mean, where do you start with something? Did you start with one state and then expand, or
Essentially started in Dallas, then we expanded throughout all of Texas. But then we started getting inbound calls from patients outside of Texas. And obviously we had to go through the licensing. That delayed that care. But because of COVID, they opened that up a little bit where you can practice outside of your state because of emergency need at that point. So we're able to quickly scale to all 50 states during COVID. We had the technology and the doctors in place to be able to scale at that point. And at this point, we're able to get all doctors across all 50 states. So that's how we actually did it. One state, but then COVID came in, accelerated the growth.
Okay. So you don't just do what you said, the ancillary stuff. I mean, what kind of services does it offer?
So back then it was mostly erectile dysfunction or hair loss companies, basically boutique catered to essentially, like I said, ancillary service, but not necessarily primary care, urgent care services. You had some companies that offered weight loss management, but wasn't other than Teladoc, there weren't any companies that were offering the end-to-end primary care, urgent care, and holistic approach to medicine, really.
Okay. And what did your peers think when you started doing this? Did they think you were crazy?
Forget it, absolutely. It was challenging, not even just my peers. I couldn't go to them really. So I had to establish the credibility of the company before I could share the ideas with them. But then they see the user growth, they see what the impact that we were making, and the cost savings and all the reviews that we were getting online. We actually the highest rated telemedicine company now because we got the review from onset, and you cannot dispute what the customers or patients are saying, right? So
That,
that wanted us the credibility to be able to go out there and do what we're doing.
yeah, I mean, that's what I noticed because I went to your website and I was like, oh, it was like 5,000 reviews. So first of all, that's
Right.
to get that number.
Absolutely. And that's just
I-
one platform. We're over about 400,000 reviews now. And that's just the 5-star reviews.
oh, wow. I mean, you blew everybody away.
Absolutely. And thanks to my team and many doctors on call, they're very, very passionate about what they do and the care to provide to the patients.
But was it hard to recruit doctors to do this online? Were they, especially back then, were they just kind of like, what?
So not necessarily. And primarily because I started also, I was one of the providers just grinding it out, working and seeing patients myself. But then because of COVID, most of the doctors did not want to go into the clinic. So this was an opportunity for them. And the model that we had was employ full-time doctors because continuation of care was really, really important for me. I didn't want doctors just seeing patients and never able to follow up with them. So all our doctors are full-time, and just being able to have a full-time position or work remotely during COVID was exceptional. And obviously they did their research, so what the patients, the feedback of the patient, and also because our platform is proprietary and customized to sort of eliminate the pain point from the doctors also. So we're not just catering to the patients, we're actually catering to the doctors also. With everything that doctors hated, that I hated as a provider, were eliminated. So they had all the support of the medical assistant, nurses, and things like so. All they did was provide patient care. So that
So
was very innovative for them.
I mean, it really is primary care online so that the docs aren't seeing 50 people an hour and then never seeing them again. They're actually creating relationships with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, because that's the one thing too, as a patient, if you come on and you get a different person every single time, but here you would get the same doc or you could request the same doc.
You can, obviously, if you're willing to wait for that doctor, right?
Right.
But most of our patients know a small group of doctors that they see, so they don't necessarily have to see the same doctor, but they can if they wanted to. However, because the doctors are all full time, we tend to do our daily huddle and actually review the patient's notes and pass the patient's notes if there's a need for follow up. So yes, the patients can request the same doctor, but that would be an option if they need to see the doctor immediately.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's really impressive. So, what about the technology? Like, did you develop that yourself or how did you get that started?
Yes, absolutely. So I built the first website, the first version myself, because I wanted to test it. Just like any entrepreneur, you want to make sure before you invest capital, you want to test for product market fit. So I developed the product and it started scaling from there. And once I established that credibility and the user growth, I brought in developers to optimize the platform. So we now have a more robust CRM backend that powers all the technology that we do. We actually have a huge department of designers, software engineers, QA, security team that manages all our technology. And because we build this platform that way, we're able to offer our software to all the telemedicine companies now. Other than also, we're not only offering the software to our patients, any telemedicine company can actually buy our service or our software in this case.
Oh, wow. I mean, is this back in 2015 or 16? Did you have any idea it was going to be this big?
Absolutely not. But I saw the potential from the very first patient, the review that they left. I saw the impact that it could make. And when you're doing good things and you're doing the right thing by patient, your potential is limitless. If you have the good intentions behind you, you will always scale and be successful.
It's very impressive because back in, let's say, it was about this time, about 2015, I was working for Walmart at the time, and this is something they were trying to do. They had this vision of providing low cost, transparent care, and they never really got it to take off. And here you were doing it, taking it even a step further, not only doing that, and you do have the low price transparency, which is amazing, but you took it a step further and put it online and have that primary care. And I mean, what you've done is amazing.
Thank you for that. I think putting patient first is always been my motivation and mission. And this is not a knock on Walmart that may be profit or motivated, or my goal from day one has been, how can I offer affordable care, high quality care to patients? And the price that we've had from day one since 2017 has been the same to today. So we've not adjusted our price according to inflation. I look for other ways to cut costs just to be able to provide, again, high quality care as much as possible and deliver care, make it accessible to patients at an affordable rate as well.
Right. So, how do you ensure that quality of care providing online matches that exceeds the traditional in person consultation?
So by integrating multiple technologies and software and empowering patients also to be part of their care. For example, preventative care, you don't want the patients to be sick until you see them, empowering them to monitor their blood pressures at home, making sure they're able to take their medication at the right time at home, delivering care medications when they are unable to visit their pharmacies, sending automated messages to make sure they're taking medications and they're feeling better post-care. Things like that has actually helped them, again, lower the cost and need to see a doctor frequently. And when they do need to see a doctor is when they'll come in and see us, and just providing the supportive care that we can is what we've been able to do to augment the extra costs that may traditionally increase the cost of medicine.
Well, so, how do you deal, like, especially in primary care, with the physical exam? Like, how does that translate online?
Absolutely. So that's very, very challenging. We'll limit the conditions that we're able to treat. We only treat very straightforward, minor to moderate complexity. Any male condition that is high complexity, we generally refer to either our clinic or a nearby primary care. So we have nurses that does the referral for them if we're not able to see them. And what we do is just refund the patients back the money so they can apply that to their copay or the in-person visit. So we have a robust triage process where you're not even able to make an appointment with a doctor if you have a complex case, if you have an acute chest pain or bleeding, anything that requires in-person visit. For example, we don't treat anything abdominal pain because you do need a physical examination to diagnose abdominal pain. So there's certain things we don't treat. We just make sure we're limited to the conditions that are treatable and safe online.
And what are some of the challenges of diagnosing and managing, let's say, diabetes or hypertension on an online platform? Because you can't really take a blood pressure either. Or do they have their own machines?
Right. So you'll be surprised. Our patients are very sophisticated. They do monitor their blood pressure at home before we treat or prescribe a blood pressure medication or diabetes medication. We do require lab work. For instance, hemoglobin A1C or glucose. Patients do record all of that and send it to us. We analyze the report and prescribe accordingly and monitor them. We are not necessarily replacing the primary care doctor. We're here to augment the primary care doctor when they can see them. If you're seeing your doctor once or twice a year, in between that, if you're traveling, this is where we come in place. Or you can get your doctor because it's a weekend or the prescription is missing. We supplement that because I understand primary care. I'm a primary care provider as well. So I understand the importance of a primary care or in-person visit. Telemedicine is not supposed to replace that. It's supposed to augment and support in-person visit when absolutely necessary. So patients, I encourage them to still see their doctor once or twice a year and get their frequent lab work done. We offer lab services as well at affordable rate. So when patients need to get their lab work done, we write the prescriptions and they go to the nearby lab core to get it done, or our prescription kit or a lab kit where they can get a test done at home.
I can imagine a lot of patients, even though you encourage them to have their primary care, that they probably prefer to have you guys as their primary care.
Absolutely. That's a huge challenge. and primarily because of the convenience and cost. So I almost beg them sometime that my hands are tied here. There's really nothing I can do at this point without that in-person visit. So it's a challenge. We try to educate the patient and tell them the relevance of the in-person visit. So we kind of limit the number of times we can see them also so we can encourage them. So it's very, very challenging because of the convenience. And you can imagine a patient that you've encouraged to see their doctor and they're coming back. This is my last day of prescription. I need my medication now. Otherwise, I'm going to die. So it's a huge challenge, but it's an ongoing thing that we're dealing with. It's one of the biggest challenges of telemedicine. He offers that flexibility, but then once the patient has experiences that, it's almost challenging to go back to their regular doctors.
How do you guys integrate specialist consultations? Do you have specialists on staff or second opinions?
So we have 3 specialists on staff now. That's one area that we expanding into now. Currently, we have dermatologists and we have OBGYN specialists also. But that's one of the areas we're going to be expanding into now. I've stayed away from that because of liability issues and the complexity that comes with specialists, and primarily also because I'm not a specialist. So designing the protocol has been a little challenging, but I'm gathering a team of intelligent and passionate specialists that are willing to join the team and offer this care. But until now, we just refer the patients through our referral services to their nearby specialists. But that's one service that we plan to explore in 2025.
That's huge. One of my colleagues was trying to get an appointment with a dermatologist and it was like 6 months out. And I'm like, my gosh, like
It's
it's crazy.
very challenging, very
It is
challenging.
very challenging. So, what recent technological innovations have you incorporated that basically have transformed your delivery, your care of delivery?
So anywhere from the subtle technology changes to the robust one. So one of the things that we're doing now is integrating remote care monitoring where your devices can be integrated with our platform. So when we sense any abnormalities, we will alert you and you will have the option of contacting our doctors or we can contact your doctors. If you have a blood pressure device at home and it goes haywire before you even realize, we get the signal, we give you the recommendations, whether you need to go to the ER or need to speak with a doctor or just maybe do a lifestyle modification to lower the blood pressure medication. So that's one of the things that we're doing also. In addition to that, our laboratory services is one of the things that we also integrating, making sure patients can get tested at home or through our at-home testing kits. And that's all integrated through their mobile device where they can check the results or consult the doctor for abnormal results online also. That's one of the things that we're also doing in terms of technology and just enhancing the security of our platform also. We want to make sure patient can access their digital medical records online through a secure platform and share it with their doctors when necessary.
Just what you're talking about, the remote care monitoring. I can't even imagine what your operations team looks like because putting this all into place is one thing, but the follow up and that's necessary, it's mind boggling. So I can't even imagine what your team looks like.
Absolutely. And they're very dedicated to patient care. They're very passionate about this. Yes, it's challenging, but that's something that we've invested a lot of capital to make sure we're able to deliver that end-to-end care to our patients.
So, how do you kind of see this role of telemedicine evolving over, I don't know, the next, what year are we, 20, like decade?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's tremendous opportunity. It just depends on how far you want to take it, using a combination of AI and machine learning to provide even further care to patient, diagnostic care and preventative care to patients. So that's one of the things that we're actually developing now. How can we apply AI and machine learning to assist patients before they even get to the doctors? There are a lot of patients that still cannot afford telemedicine. How can we use AI to assist them and prevent a whole lot of things before it even gets to where they need to see a doctor? So that's one thing that we're doing. And just making healthcare more accessible. There are a lot of patients or people in the rural area with no access to internet. And you'll be shocked, even though there's no access to telemedicine or medicine period in the rural area, the utilization of telemedicine is actually lowest in those areas because of the internet. So what I'm trying to do is find ways to offer offline medical care to them without the need for internet to connect with a doctor. So that's one of the things I'm working on as well. And they needed them, but because of that limitation of the internet or access to broadband internet, they have limited access to telemedicine.
I didn't think there was any place on earth that didn't have an internet.
Absolutely. It's not the best option for them. It's very, very discouraging. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there specific areas within, let's say, healthcare technology that you think are in the right time and space for better innovation? Like what would you actively try and improve other than supplying internet where there is no internet? What else are you looking at helping to kind of evolve in the technology space?
I think generally speaking, the part I think is most challenging for patient is the cost of prescription, really, especially when you have the major retail companies controlling the cost of medication. So one of the things I'm trying to do, at least from my point of view, is integrate local pharmacies where patients don't necessarily have to rely on your Walgreens and a CVS that control the pricing, but have a negotiated rate through all these pharmacies and have a delivery plan on basic medication at an affordable rate. So you have Mark Cuban's company that are Drug Cost Plus that offers affordable rate, but patients are not able to get the prescriptions there because they may not have doctors. So my job is to integrate with all these affordable options and be able to prescribe the medications to those pharmacies. So having a pharmacy online that offers affordable medication is one thing, but being able to have a doctor that can prescribe those medications is something. So that integration and interface, making it simple where you can go to, where you can shop any medication online, find the cost of it, and link you to a doctor like on my platform and get the prescription safely to that pharmacy without necessarily going to doctor or CVS is one of the things I'm also looking into.
Oh, wow.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, since you founded Callondoc, what do you consider your most significant achievement?
I would say the number of lives that we've saved and also the costs that we've saved. So most of the patients that we see generally go to the ER, not necessarily because they're sick, just because they have no access to aftercare. So regular doctor is sick and they need their prescription, they will go to the ER for refills. In this case, saving them significant amount of money, obviously, the thousands of dollars. So by my account, for my team, we've saved, I'll say over $700,000 in sort of ER costs that could have gone to ER that we've actually saved our patients by just providing that extra service after hours. And obviously the lives that we saved, just heading back from our patients, really, patients that out of their medication or don't have access to their doctors over the weekend on holidays, being able to be there for them and just save them the convenience or escalation of deterioration of their care. These are my biggest achievement, other than the technology itself. Technology itself is very, very impressive. There's nothing like this in the market in terms of our CRM and our back and how convenient and operational it is. That's my biggest challenge, but that's one of my biggest achievements. But my number one would be the patient care and how I've been able to save life and save them the funds.
Yeah, I mean, the trip to the ED could be that could be, one of
Yes.
those sending to bankruptcy. It's ridiculous. But the way that you've operationalized this and as big as it's taken off, I mean, you must have some pretty big players coming to you guys now at this point. Do you have like some big partnerships on the horizon that you're connecting with?
So yes, we do have a lot of partners that want to integrate with our platform. We integrate with a lot of local independent pharmacies. Like I said, I want to empower those as well because number one, they provide one-on-one care to their local patients. So yes, we do have a lot of partnership with local pharmacies. We also partner with a lot of primary care clinics as well to offer after-hours services. Like I mentioned, most clinics close at 5 o'clock, but we cover them overnight so their patients won't have to go to the ER, or even on weekends, or even when the doctors want to take a vacation, we become the backup for them during that time. So their clinics and patients are not closed. So we offer those as well. We get interest from investors, but we're not looking to raise capital at this point. We've not raised capital. The company is still bootstrapped. So we may entertain that in the near future, but for now, we're trying to build a solid foundation that's patient focused and not necessarily a return on investment centered.
Right. Well, I would say you're probably saving lives by giving primary care docs a vacation, because that's something they haven't had.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're afraid the whole clinic will go under if they take vacation. But that's amazing. So as you continue to lead Callondoc into the future, what are your hopes for the impact of telemedicine on, I guess, let's say, global healthcare?
Yes, absolutely. I think the way telemedicine is going to be a commodity, meaning it's going to be readily available everywhere in the next future. It's still limited, but I think in the next 5 years, it's going to be everywhere it can be accessible through any doctor or any
I hope
platform.
so.
Right, absolutely. So my goal is to facilitate that, to provide the software for the doctors or the pharmacy integration or the at-home kits, just so supportive system. I'm open to competition. I want the market to be flooded and offer telemedicine services to patients, but having the research to support that is what I'm looking into now. Whoever wants to start their own telemedicine company can come in and sort of buy our software, or even we can power the technology without doctors also. So all you have to do is just buy the service, and we'll offer the end-to-end from the software to the medical providers as well.
Yeah, I mean, all medicine needs to run like this. It needs to be efficient and transparent, and you should know how much things are going to cost. Like that seems so
Absolutely.
basic, especially in a capitalistic society. Like,
Absolutely. That's very, very important. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why we sort of have this e-commerce model on our platform where our prices is sort of on our website, and that's how much you pay. So it's not hidden. We don't have hidden price. So every condition is as a price tag, just like an e-commerce, like I said. So you know exactly how much you're paying from just landing on our website.
love it. Well, TJ, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Where do people go if they need an appointment or want to learn more?
Absolutely. Just go to callondoc.com, callondoc.com. You can always contact our support team if you have any question. I encourage patients or anyone to download the app. You may not be sick today, but just download the app. It's free whenever you're ready. All you have to do is register your account, and anyone that uses the app get an additional $5 off a consultation, because with the app, we can actually provide additional services there. So we encourage individuals to download the app whenever you're ready to use it. Okay, you may not need it today, but you will have access anytime. In the back of your pocket, we open 7 days a week, holidays, even though the doctors working on holidays, but
Not better than going into the office.
right. So we're 24/7 and on holidays as well.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Beyond the Medical Algorithm is brought to you by the Philly Wellness Center. To find out more about the Philly Wellness Center and how we're challenging conventional medical wisdom and shedding light on more natural means of healing and therapy, visit phillywellnesscenter.com. And then make sure to search for Holistic Health in Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcast, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at the Philly Wellness Center, keep celebrating the innate power in our incredible bodies, and thanks for listening.